2014 is over, and now it's time to look back at our experiences and compile a few of our favorites to share with you. It was a bit of an unusual year with a lot of games not meeting their potential, and a few coming out of nowhere, making this a tough year to list our favorites. This also marked the first real next-gen console year, giving us a taste of what's to come. Without further hesitation, here are our top 10 games of 2014.
Number 10. Bayonetta 2.
With its fast, fluid tight controls, Bayonetta 2 managed to be a successful return for the dimension-tearing, hair-wielding witch. The entire affair is a string of set pieces that keep you on the roller coaster throughout its entirety. However, the sometimes awkward hypersexualization of the protagonist and its almost identical structure towards the first game kept it from being higher on this list.
Number 9. Super Smash Bros. Wii U.
It's always a welcome treat when a new Smash Bros. Title comes around. Its one release per console keeps things feeling fresh with each new iteration, when there's so many annual cash cow franchises already. Super Smash Bros. Wii U was an overall improvement over Brawl, and speeding up the action, making it feel closer to the superior Melee entry. While the character and music lists offered much in the way of fan service, the split in available content between the two versions didn't help the variety of stages available, but Smash continued to grasp its hold as one of the best party games out there.
Number 8. The Wolf Among Us.
While he might not be the nicest guy, Big B Wolf creates the perfect catalyst for a morally gray, choice-driven story to occur around. The Wolf Among Us greatly improved on Telltale's format of storytelling that The Walking Dead popularized, by keeping the narrative moving and focused. The slick graphic novel art style and electronic jazzy soundtrack immersed you into the Fable's world, as Bigby pieced together clues to solve a mystery, dispensing his own brand of justice along the way.
Number 7. South Park: The Stick of Truth.
Deep in the lands of Zaron, the humans of Koopa Keep struggle to stay alive, as they are attacked by the wicked drow elves of Larnia. Darkness falls, as the humans beg their king to save them, a noble king known only as the Grand Wizard.
Never has a game been so close to the source material it was based off of. The Stick of Truth doesn't only manage to feel like you're playing the long-running show, but it also offers ridiculous humor, an entertaining story, and solid gameplay. Fans of the show would be hard-pressed to get a better treat than what Matt Stone and Trey Parker helped deliver to them in early 2014.
Number 6. Plants vs. Zombies: Garden Warfare.
Garden Warfare was a pleasant surprise for us. Not only did it ooze charming personality, but it offered amazing class-based multiplayer gameplay as the vegetable warriors battled against the undead onslaught. While the amount of stages were lacking, they offered smart design, and a staggering amount of unlockable weapons, characters, and cosmetic items kept us playing this game for months, pushing us to master each zany character's style.
Number 5. World of Warcraft, Warlords of Draenor.
We will never be slaves! But we will be conquerors.
Never has a game so saturated a genre as World of Warcraft over the last 10 years. Excluding the contributions and harm that it has created for MMOs, WoW is inarguably the center-bearing core of the shaky and often crumbling MMO structure that the genre has built around the last 10 years. Warlords of Draenor added a long-promised player housing system, a story-driven leveling campaign, along with a complete retuning of its core gear and specialization mechanics. The improvement of features from other expansions such as Pandaria's pet battle system and a hearty endgame have made this one of the stronger expansions to date.
Number 4. Forza Horizon 2.
The Forza series has done well in branching off its main racing simulation brand. The Horizon games bring a much-needed vivacity to car enthusiasts just looking for a good time. Keeping themselves grounded in reality over time becomes nothing but repetition, as each real-world track has been used in numerous titles over the years. While the rival system took a hit, Horizon 2 built off of most of the groundwork offered by the first by offering a significantly larger car selection, a host of off-road vistas, a larger world, and overall just more variety and activities to participate in as you tour the vibrant Mediterranean landscape in whatever dream car you choose.
Number 3. Dark Souls 2.
We were prepared to die earlier this year, and we got what we asked for. After the original masterpiece, Dark Souls 2 had some big ironclad boots to fill. While it managed to offer a more expansive world and higher boss count, it didn't quite fit into those boots just right, as it wasn't the evolution the series needed, and the DLC was a little disappointing as well. But all that considered, this was still easily one of the best games of the year. There's nothing quite like the Souls series, as it tests your patience to just the right amount, giving you a satisfying sense of reward as you explore its lore-rich, labyrinthine castles and dungeons. We just can't wait for Bloodborne.
Number 2. The Crew.
Another one of the year's big surprises for us this year. After playing Horizon 2, we were satisfied that we had not only played the best racing game of the year, but one of the best in years. But the crew pulled up, welcomed us into its expansive cabin, and did a burnout all over our previous notions as we sped off across the countryside. The crew captured a level of pure bliss in racing games that hasn't been met since the early Midnight Club games. It also managed to do away with the casual rewind feature that sneaks its way into other racers, now making the challenge actually satisfying. And if that wasn't enough, it gave us the best racing world ever created. The upgrade system helped bring a bit of diversity to the low car selection, and the scope of the races distracted us from the sometimes bland visuals. The free exploration that the crew naturally urges you to do makes the crew more than just a racing game. It's an experience. Playing through with your friends is one of the best multiplayer experiences to be had in years. This year was probably full of more polarizing titles than any other in recent memory. People seem to love or hate any number of games without any clear consensus on what the popular choice for Game of the Year should be. We happen to be on the loving side of one of those titles.
Number 1. The Evil Within.
It's been 12 years since we've had a truly great, proper Resident Evil experience, and 9 years since we've had something as enjoyable as Resident Evil 4. While we're still waiting for something that recalls the magic of the classics, we got the next best thing this year with The Evil Within. Shinji Mikami's brand of horror and gameplay from RE4 is very evident from the beginning of the game all the way until the end. While it isn't related to Capcom or the Resident Evil franchise, this is very much the spiritual successor to what came out in 2005. You'll slowly creep from one deeply atmospheric area to the next as Detective Sebastian Castellanos searches for the truth behind the experiments performed by the Beacon Mental Hospital, as he's hurled through a joint psychological nightmare struggling to survive and maintain his sanity. The combat is extremely rewarding with its responsive feedback as enemies react to every bullet that tears through them. That, coupled with an overall high level of challenge, makes Evil Within an absolute blast to play. It also doesn't hurt that it chooses to drop the dark jump scare haunted house style gameplay that has begun to saturate the horror genre, and go back to creating a tense, richly atmospheric world full of macabre wonder.
Honorable mentions.
Licensed games that honor their source material are few and far between. After a string of lackluster games based on the Aliens franchise, a studio best known for historical strategy games produced a game that captures the loneliness and desperation of being hunted by a single perfect killing machine without compromising its design to court a larger audience. Every single prop and interior perfectly mimics the set design of Ridley Scott's 1979 sci-fi classic, and the atmosphere is thick. At times, Alien Isolation's commitment to its source material can be detrimental, since it goes out of its way to recreate some of the more memorable bits of the movie on which the game is based, in spite of featuring an entirely original scenario. Nevertheless, it's hard not to love a game that doesn't dumb its design down to benefit the lowest common denominator.
Destiny brought them together. They had survived the enemy's wrath, their gunfire, bombardments, gas attacks.
With an amazing art direction, soundtrack, and characters, Valiant Hearts takes my honorable mention pick. Its take on World War I is brilliant by focusing on the characters and how their lives are impacted throughout this struggle. It may not be our top 10, but Valiant Hearts is the game I'd recommend.
Created by ex-BioWare developers, the Banner Saga helps revitalize the turn-based tactical genre. It features an epic narrative set in a fictional Viking kingdom that is besieged by a hostile army known as the Dredge. While not up to the level of complexity of games like Final Fantasy Tactics or Tactics Ogre, it does stand on its own and accomplishes some unique feats, such as its Oregon Trail-inspired caravan, where you manage food, people, and are often faced with difficult decisions. These decisions add elements of replayability as well as a risk-reward system, since you have to decide between setting up camp to avoid exhaustion or marching forward to stay one step ahead of the Dredge army. The Banner Saga also features a unique Icelandic soundtrack.
The first Lords of Shadow managed to be a pleasant surprise for me, as I had always been a fan of the 2D Castlevania games and felt it could succeed in 3 dimensions with the original Devil May Cry feeling like what it could be. Lords of Shadow 2 brought back the intriguing story of Gabriel Belmont and his descent into darkness in similar fashion to the first, offering a more open design and backtracking that I felt were more suited to the Castlevania brand. Its haunting soundtrack and beautiful artwork were among the best this year and remains among my favorite titles of 2014. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video and would like to hear what you have to say. We've got more to bring you in 2015 and have a few other lists to finish off 2014 on the way. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and thanks again for watching.